Today, I wanted to try making a drawing, except I could only use the color orange. I really don't know why I picked this color, it just kind of came to me, you know? This is actually the second video in this series, so go check out the first one. Anyways, let's get drawing. But first, I have to decide what I'm going to draw, and what screams orange more than a Boeing Stearman Model 75. That's what I thought. So I started sketching the plane, which I referenced from a quick thumbnail sketch I made earlier. And drawing this was not as easy as you might think, trust me. But after I finished the sketch, it was time for the background. So I sketched the border and filled in the background with a nice orange gradient. I was going for a kind of sunset theme, you know, because orange, you get it. Anyways, I wanted to add a little bridge in the background that the plane would be flying over. At first, I tried to use 2-point perspective, but yeah, that did not work. So instead, I just freehanded it, which I think turned out so much better. Next, I'm adding some clouds, which is actually one of my favorite things to draw. They just look so nice and fluffy, you know? But I didn't want to make them too detailed, so I went with a kind of flat shape with bumpy lines as accents. I personally think it turned out pretty nice, but I don't know. Now it's time for coloring! Yay! My biggest fear going into this is that everything would just blend together and nothing would really stand out. I tried finding ways to give different things contrast without the help of color, but you'll see. I started with the plane using a slightly darker color than the background. I do tweak a lot of these colors later though. Next, I color in the bridge and draw every little wire thingy, which took a painstaking amount of time, but I pulled through. Now it's time for the water, which I filled in with a darker orange. I was wondering how I would do the reflections, but I think I found a pretty interesting solution. I just draw a whole bunch of circles and stretch them out. After that, I add some birds and moved on to the line art. I'm always so afraid to start the line art because I always think that it'll just ruin the drawing. But I did it, which means it's time for shading. I colored the bottom of the wings a lighter color and darkened the front areas of the plane. I also added supports to the wings, and next I'm adding highlights to the bottom of the plane. And I did this because it was meant to be sunset, so the sun would be coming from under the plane, which meant that the shadow would have to be on the top. I also wanted to draw a trail behind the plane just to give it some motion. I think it really helped. Now it's time to draw the propeller, which I made by drawing the shape of it, turning down the opacity, then giving it a little bit of motion blur. I also went over the plane with a soft airbrush just to add a little bit more depth. Now I'm adding some rim lights to the plane, which I do think makes it look so much better. It's just that cherry on top, you know? And last but not least, I'm adding a harsher light to the bottom behind the cloud that's meant to be the sun. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and check out some more of my art on my channel page. See ya.